In this video, I'll be reviewing your Pokemon, and more specifically, this is a submission by Jake in the Nirtheart Discord, in the Pokemon Sleep category, in the YouTube My Mon text channel. And so I will extend the offer out October 2024. So if you become a YouTube member within October 2024 and post 3 Pokemon in the YouTube My Mon text channel, I'll make you a video like this one. And so it starts at $2, whatever that is in your local currency. I'm in Norway, so that is 19 kroner. You get lifetime access to the Discord, early access to new videos. I replied to all the comments, don't worry about that. So, YouTube My Mon, special offer out October 2024. So if you become a member and post 3 Pokemon in there, I will eventually get around to reviewing them. And so in this video specifically, Jake has posted 4. That was before I made the rule of limiting it to 3, because some of you guys started posting 9 Pokemon in there, and that would be a long video. So the first Pokemon, as you can see, is Altaria, and you saw in the thumbnail that Jake has a shiny, actually Swablu, because it's not an Altaria yet, but this is a strong consideration right here. There are a couple things that are a little bit unfortunate with it, which we will get to, but overall, this is a very strong Pokemon. So I don't have a button here to make the picture over here shiny, but yeah, keep that in mind as we go along here. Now, the one thing you want on a berry specialist, above all else, is berry finding. And thank goodness it has it. It's a golden shiny, it needs the golden skills. And so another thing that I kind of like actually is the Sleep EXP bonus. If you find helping, no, what am I saying? Yeah, well, helping bonus and berry finding is just, that's great. Like, you don't need anything else on a berry specialist. I also think berry finding and the Sleep EXP bonus is a strong combo, because for the most part, the berry specialists, you use them overnight and you get that extra little benefit. And so that is pretty good. Now I can also mention the ingredient list here is triple eggs. For the most part, you shouldn't care about the ingredient list on your berry specialists. You want to optimize for the berry production. So don't consider the ingredient list for the most part. But triple eggs, whenever you can find it, or triple apple on the right shoot, like, it's nice, it's there. And so, worth mentioning. Now, actually, there's a little bit of an unfortunate placement here. We got helping speed M at level 100, which blocks out the helping speed at level 25. And then the nature is hardy, so that is neutral. And then we have an ingredient finding S at level 75. And Altaria overall, I would say, is a decent Pokemon. I don't know if I would put it quite in A tier, but overall, it's a strong Pokemon, even though it is slow. And the reason is the Yache berry of the dragon type is the highest value berry in the game. One thing that is unfortunate too with the Altaria overall is the high ingredient rate. On a berry specialist, you don't want that to be particularly high. So we can see over here it is 25%. That is very, very high. And so I would say for most Altaria that you want to invest in, you probably will want the berry finding, and then some way of limiting that ingredient production. Let me see if I can reset the music. I don't know why it likes to do this. It's very, very annoying. Either way, the conversation continues. Now, ingredients down would be preferable, but I mean, if you get speed up, that's also just fine. Now, this I would say is a pretty nice shiny. Altaria looks really cool, shiny too. It's got those golden colors, and yeah, the berry finding, the speed, and the Sleep EXP bonus here is quite the nice combo. And then let's say you get to 1,000 hours, your inventory is going to be 25. You'll probably have some eggs in there too, especially at level 60. Guess it's water or something dripping from my hair, but yeah, that was strange. Okay, that was the Altaria. Overall, Should you invest in this one? I would say probably. It has the berry finding, it has some speed, it's a shiny berry specialist with berry finding. It's got sleep XP bonus, you can get some supplemental eggs here, and it has another speed at level 100, so definitely worth considering at the very least. And just keep it in your bag for whenever that dragon type area comes out eventually, hopefully. Alright, the next Pokemon that Jake has submitted is a Golem. Let's have a look at Golem. Golem has fallen a little bit out of favor, but overall, by no means is a weak Pokemon, which we will get to here. And one of the reasons is that ingredient rate, which is massive. Look at that, 28%. It is one of the highest, if not the highest, ingredient rates in the whole game. It seems like this Golem has evolved twice, and it's got 32 in the inventory, but it's got inventory S coming in at level 75. So actually under 200 hours in this one. It's got helping bonus, huge. That's very nice on the ingredient specialists. Although preferably, probably you will want a proper ingredient list, and you want ingredient finders, because for the most part you put the ingredient Pokemon on the team, maybe not the whole day. So maybe on the berry specialists it would be even more preferable, but either way, helping bonus, super strong skill. And then there is a helping speed coming up. And we can also reveal the nature, which is Rash, one of the best natures on ingredient specialists. Golem has a pretty high skill rate, so to an extent it would have been nicer potentially with either the recovery down, or maybe even the EXP down. It depends. In this case though, I think it's nice as is, because there's actually a berry finding coming in at level 75. Overall, Golem is probably not the best Pokemon to have berry finding on, but this can be done over. You have inventory L, you have a berry finding, you have helping bonus berry finding, you have speed, and then at that point, the only thing left here is another ingredient finding. So the combo here with the ingredient finding S with the ingredient finding nature, this can actually be sub-skill seeded too. So you get ingredient finding M, helping speed M, helping bonus, inventory L, berry finding, rash nature. This is kind of crazy. So if we just revert this back a little bit and we go back to how it is right now, actually at level 40, but we'll just assume that you can speed this to level 50 quite easily. The ingredient list is the interesting aspect here, and we haven't mentioned that at all. It is double potato. Overall, I would say double potato is nice ingredient list. The B and the C, not even the B and the C, but the level 30 and the level 60 slots. So this column right here and this column right here are the most important. This, for the most part, you can just do this with, especially if you plan to get that Pokemon to level 60 anyway. If you plan on keeping it at level 30, then yeah, then this is the one you just hide. So since you have potato on this specific Golem, I say it's quite nice because it's very focused. 4 and 6 in the drop is quite nice. And I think actually in this video we should just mention Meowscarada, which now is a mono potato Pokemon. And it's quite a good one at that. So it has 2, 5, and 7 on the potatoes. Meanwhile, Golem has 4 and 6. Golem also has a ridiculous ingredient rate. But it's slower. And it's also not mono. And at that point, if you can get a mono potato Meowscarada with a couple decent sub-skills, then at level 60, that's going to be very, very strong. So overall, it's not a huge problem that Meowscarada is out now. This Golem in specific is level 40. There's a lot of Geodude candy around, and so I don't think it's going to be a huge problem for you to get it to level 60, potentially even stretch it to level 75 for that berry finding. But yeah, overall, that is a very solid Golem, and I'm happy for you. So let's hop on over to the next Pokemon. Let's see here, we got Gallade. That's quite an unusual Pokemon. Sarah submitted a Gallade too. That was an interesting discussion. Got a little bit stomped because I haven't used some of these extra helpful Pokemon too much. I have some experience with running Helper Boost Entei, but aside from that, it's a little bit hard for me to assess these specific skill specialists because overall I would say they probably are not as strong as many of the other skill specialists you could dump seeds into, and therefore I have not explored them as much as I probably should. So that is one of the reasons why these videos are interesting, because you guys force me to talk about Pokemon that I normally probably wouldn't talk as much about. First thing we can say here is this Gallade is level 43. It has 32 inventory, which means at this point in time, it's probably got 500. Yeah, it's got under 1,000 hours on it. Its main skill level 7, so it's clear to me that this is a Pokemon that Jake is actively using. He has a Jolteon as his profile picture in the Nirtheart Discord, so it may be the case that he's got a Jolteon coming up here too. I don't know. We'll see. So the Gallade, one thing that I find interesting about it is the fact that long term, for a lot of players, Gardevoir is the main healer. That is the target. Now, that means you're going to catch a whole lot of Ralts, most likely, and you're going to have a close second, probably, Ralts that's just laying around. And so Gardevoir being such an important hunt makes it so that you will end up with a close call Ralts that is kind of super strong, but it's not good enough for the Gardevoir per se. And so that actually elevates Gallade in a funny way, because if you find a very strong second Ralts, you may go for Gardevoir on the best Ralts, and then you just happen to have a Ralts right there that you already found because you were looking for Gardevoir, and skills in those will elevate the Gallade overall as a choice. Now it's going to require seeds. It's going to steal off some candy from the Gardevoir, naturally. But I mean, maybe you want to go for both, or maybe you don't even have a Gardevoir at all. You just go like Sarah, have a busted Wigglytuff, happen to have a lot of Ralts candy because Ralts, Gardevoir, double S tier, like just one of the best Pokemon in the game. So you're going to get a lot of candies from the friend list. So if you don't even care about the Gardevoir, either way, you will likely end up with a solid Ralts or a lot of candies or both. And in this case, it's quite an interesting one. So unfortunately, it's got the calm nature with the speed down, but thankfully the main skill chance is up, and that kind of on net works out. So first sub skill is skill trigger M, and then it's got helping speed M, and then it's got helping speed S. Some of these traits are nullified a little bit by that nature, unfortunately. And then level 100 we can mention, there is a skill trigger S. That is too far away for most, so we're just not going to take that into account in our calculation. And at level 75, there's an ingredient finding M. Not really what you're looking for in a Gallade, so we're going to look away from that too. So this is what we got. The ingredient list is apple, apple, leek, so AAC. I don't really care too much about the ingredient list on the Gallade, although one consideration is that this main skill, extra helpful S, can trigger on itself. And at that point, maybe you get a couple leaks every now and then, and that can be nice when you get to level 60. Right now, it's 43. The other thing to think about here with the Gallade is, personally, I think overall, I would prefer one with berry finding, just because it can very likely just hit itself and then that's that. But in the case that you're doing some overstacking, most likely you're not interested in the strength that you have in the week that you're overstacking. So at that point, you don't really need the berry finding on the Gallade. You just want a high trigger rate and as high of a trigger rate as possible. And in this case, at level 50, you kind of have just that. So the base rate is 5.4%. And at level 50, that's an 8.8%. That's a huge boost. And that is because of skill trigger M, main skill chance up. Gallade is also pretty fast as is. So the speed of help down nature here is not a huge detriment, especially when you have all this speed 2 coming in and you have the correct setup here with the main skill chance nature and the skill trigger here. I do like the inventory here. With this skill rate, you probably will be able to bank 2 triggers before you go into sneaky snacking in the full inventory. So that is pretty good. So overall, I would say this Gallade is super solid for overstacking. Main skill 7, very cool. If you also happen to have either a Raikou, Suicune, and an Entei, no, what am I saying, Entei? Yeah, Raikou, Entei, Suicune. For some reason I thought I said Arcanine, but either way, it's probably a good Pokemon to put on there because per trigger, you get 11 extra productions. That means if you hit a berry specialist, you just get 33 berries for the most part, approximately 30 berries, something like this. And for a high level berry specialist, that's a lot of value right there. You can overstacking and do the whole strategy. So pretty solid Gallade there. Happy for you. And we hop on to the next Pokemon. Is there 1 or 2 more? I can't remember. 1 more. Okay, great. Slaking. It's a lot easier to count when it's just 3. Because, yeah, anyway. Because I end up talking about a whole other set of Pokemon and then I'm just... Okay. Slaking. Interesting Pokemon. Overall, I'm not too big a fan of the Slaking. But it has its use cases. And if it's got some pretty good sub-skills and you happen to have a couple seeds laying around, then why not? So we need to shift this one. It has the lonely nature, which is pretty good. Overall, I would probably prefer the skill route on the Slaking, but overall, it's not bad at all. It's level 51. It seems like it's been evolved twice, I would assume. It's got 200 hours in it. It's got 23 inventory. The ingredient list is tomato, honey tomato. I don't care too much about the ingredient list on the Slaking, despite the fact it has close to 34% on the ingredient rate. Yikes. Okay, so it's got skill trigger M, huge. It's got helping speed S, pretty nice. And it's got helping speed M. So this Slaking is ridiculously fast. It's got all the speed in the world except helping bonus. And then at level 75, it's got some inventory up S. That eventually is going to be a nice boost. Let me tell you. So research EXP bonus is hiding at level 100. And because it doesn't really affect our analysis, we might as well just keep it on the screen. Now, because this Slaking is level 51 already, it is a berry specialist with a very high skill rate. And what that means in the current meta is it's not going to be able to double bank those triggers. You have to collect from it very often, despite the fact it's a berry specialist, to really utilize that skill. Overall, Slaking has a very low inventory. You can see, wait, hang on. Why is there 29? That is because of the level 75. This one has to go. We're looking at basically 50. You know what? For the clean look here, we're going to remove that one too. So 23 on the inventory when it's a berry specialist makes it so that this inventory is going to fill up rather fast. Now with a 9% skill rate, it's probably going to bank a skill before the inventory runs out. On average, quite likely. But it is unfortunate that there is no double banked skills available for Slaking, and overall when you compare it to Vaporeon right now, Vaporeon's looking very nice. Though, since this is level 51, it's got main skill level 6, even the potential for main skill level 7, if you have another seed laying around, then it's going to be quite nice at Snowdrop Tundra, which is a late game area, and so I do think the Slaking can put in some work. It's just unfortunate, a little bit of an awkward Pokemon in my opinion, because it's a berry specialist that has a very, very bad ingredient rate. This is way too high for a berry specialist. And then on top of that, it's got no inventory. So when you want to bank the skill triggers, when you have a skill rate that is as high as skill specialists, you don't get the bank because, well, it's a berry specialist, and the inventory is low, and it's slow, so it doesn't even work as a berry specialist when it's this slow. Unless, of course, you find this one that has speed up, speed M, speed S, skill trigger M. So yeah, overall I would say it's a pretty decent Slaking, and probably a cool Pokemon on your team overall. I mean, Ingredient Magnet level 6 gives you a lot of ingredients overall. You probably have 3 to 5 procs per day or something like this if you collect often. That could be pretty solid. Up to 100 extra ingredients by just tapping the Slaking. And then you get a whole bunch of berries too, and at level 51, that normal type berry is kind of nice. So overall, that is my assessment of these Pokemon, and let me know in a comment if you have any other thoughts to bring along on this analysis. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, Jake, and for everyone else, you can leave a big old thumbs up if you have enjoyed this video and would like to see more of this kind of content in the future. Thank you very much for watching.